I think we're live. Are we live? Am I live? I don't know if I'm live. It says I'm live. Let's see. What's up, everybody? If you can hear me, please comment. Tell me you can hear me. Doing a little live hangout today. Not really sure what we're going to talk about. Kind of waiting for your questions to roll in. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. What's up, everybody? The viewers are rolling in. Viewers are rolling in. What are you guys all up to today? Friday. Hello from Germany. Oh, man, it's almost Saturday in Germany. Forgot about that. What are you guys, like 12 hours? No, 8 hours ahead? 7 hours ahead? Wow. People from all over. What's up, guys? I hope you guys can hear me. You can. Victoria says she can hear me. Joseph, what's up, man? What's up, Victoria? How's it going, everybody? What's going on? What do you guys want to talk about today? Let's see. What are some frequently asked questions? Do you even own a shirt? That's a frequently asked question. Do you own a shirt? Look, I own a shirt. Sometimes I wear them. Usually just when I do these, I actually put this shirt on just for this occasion. I got dressed. Radiophonica, what's up? You got a couple questions? Throw them up. Throw the questions up. All right. Who's ready for, is anybody going to watch, what's up from San Diego, Organic Mechanic? What's happening, man? Who's going to see UFC 205 tomorrow? Is anybody hyped on that? It's going to be interesting. Coming to learn, Sally Short. That's what we're all here for, right? Good morning from Cali, says Trisha Lopez. Trisha, I'm from California. And growing up in California, we always thought it was kind of lame when people said Cali. Maybe it's a San Diego thing. No one said Cali where I was from in California. Where are you from in California? Daniel Velasquez, having your Maca hot chocolate right now. Yes. Thanks, dude. Maca and chocolate. We had Maca and chocolate this morning. Here's a question. Does drinking water while you eat really slow digestion? Drinking water while you eat really slow digestion. I prefer not to drink a lot of water around meals, especially during a meal, just because I feel like it can bloat you a little bit. As far as it's slowing digestion, I don't know about that. When I'm eating a meal, I try not to drink while I'm eating. That's a good question. Can you explain about plateaus while counting macros? Glendora, next to the beautiful mountains. Nice. Trisha in Glendora with the best Mexican food, she says. Yeah, Mexican food is one of the many things to be missed about California is the delicious Mexican food. Love it. All right, plateaus. Talking about plateaus. This is a huge thing. This is a very broad subject. There can be so many reasons why a person can plateau. Now, first of all, what I'd like to say is your plateau highly likely isn't really a plateau. How do you define a plateau? First, we have to do that, right? Like, oh, how do I get into ketosis? Well, first, let's define ketosis. We got to define these terms. So let's define a plateau. I think maybe a plateau would be anything over, I don't know, maybe like 4 weeks, no progress. 2 weeks, slight stall in progress, no movement on the scale, not much change in body composition. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. 4 weeks plus, maybe you can consider that a plateau. But the first thing to realize is that weight loss is not linear. If you were to track your weight loss, if you're going to look at your weight, a chart of how you're losing weight, it's not going to go straight down. It's going to be kind of like a sine wave. You guys remember calculus and geometry, the sine wave. That's what it looks like. Little wiggly line. Some days you might feel like you might gain 3 pounds out of nowhere. It's not 3 pounds of fat. It's 3 pounds of water. You're not going to gain 3 pounds of fat overnight. So let's first of all make sure that you're not just in a normal cycle of water retention. Sometimes when we lose body fat, it seems like water will kind of fill up that area. It will kind of fill up the area around the fat cells and whatnot. And And I'm just looking at it. It's hard to not get distracted by all the comments and questions. But you can have fluctuations in water weight due to stress. You can have fluctuations in water weight due to lack of sleep, which would be a stressor. You can have fluctuations in water weight due to carbohydrate intake. You can have fluctuations for all kinds of reasons. Your hormones are dictating how much water your body is holding, which is being dictated by the conditions of your environment, the environment that you're in, the environment you inhabit, the environment you choose to interact with. And how you interact with that environment determines the expression of your form, of your genetics, and your physical form. So water fluctuations can happen. You can think you're in a stall, but you could also be gaining lean muscle mass and losing body fat, but staying the same weight. So if you do hit a stall, first of all, making sure you're getting sufficient protein. If you're skimping on the protein, if you're afraid to eat protein, if you're doing a ketogenic diet and you're afraid to eat protein, you think that, if you eat 60, 70 grams of protein, it's going to put you into gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis, which is a term referring to the generation of glucose from both fatty acids and from amino acids. And it's a process that we wouldn't be alive without. We need gluconeogenesis. So don't be afraid of gluconeogenesis. Of course, you don't want to greatly overeat protein. You don't need 180 grams of protein a day. Most people probably don't need any more than 90, 100, maybe 120 grams of protein. But it depends on your goals. It depends on your lean body mass. It depends on how active you are, your body type, your age. There's a lot of different things you want to, and your preference. If you enjoy eating lots of protein, then you might have more protein than other individuals. But make sure you're getting sufficient protein. Make sure you're not eating way too much. And you might want to dial back on the fats if you find that you've truly hit a stall and you've probably changed your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE, and your body composition has probably changed, and the amount of calories you're burning might be changing. So you might need to drop back the fats a little bit. And but there's many different ways to attack a plateau. I see people plateauing quite often because they're not getting sufficient protein. I'll say that straight up. Quite often people will plateau because they are under eating protein, sometimes vastly overeating fats, sometimes under-eating protein and under-eating fat, and they're expecting to lose weight, but they're stalling. So you got to keep that metabolism rolling. Eat breakfast. All right, let's go back. We got a bunch of questions now. What's up, everybody? Do you carb up? And if so, how? I don't carb up. I don't know what that means. Carb up. What is this? Carb up. I'll eat seasonal carbohydrates. Sometimes I might eat some carbohydrates. I do intentional carb ups. I don't find they benefit my performance at all. And I'm not a high level athlete, but I find that it doesn't benefit my performance as far as running, doing hill sprints, hiking, kettlebell swings, weight training, the stuff that I do physically, the movements that I do. I don't find that carbohydrates benefit that at all. I don't think that carbohydrates are evil. I don't avoid them because I think they're the scourge of humanity. But I do think there's something that most people eat far too many of. Most people eat the wrong types of. And many people are just obsessed and addicted to them. So obsessed with and addicted to them. But yeah, I don't do carb ups, but I ain't afraid of carbs. Let's see. Some examples of carbohydrates that I enjoy eating. I'm really into honey, local honey. Protect the bees. Save the bees, people. Shout out to Monsanto for destroying the honeybee population of most of the world. But yeah, I'm really into honey. I think that's awesome. Here we go. Do you make bone broth? How do you use and stir it? What is stir? Yeah, we like broth. We make bone broth. We just drink it. I like to put shilajit in it. Shilajit. I don't know however you want to say it. You can emphasize whichever vowel you want. You can put the emphasis on whichever syllable you choose. But shilajit, maybe a little bit of coconut oil if I need to get some fats in. That's how I like to do bone broth. Or making like a soup. You can take some vegetables, take some meat, take some of the meat off of the meaty bones that you used in the broth, put that in the bone broth, put a little coconut oil, salt, pepper, turmeric. Get that fresh ground black pepper in there. That's a good way to go about it. I'm down for that. The one Robin Hyde says, how quantum is your home for allowing in sunlight, grounding, and if you're doing anything to eliminate EMFs? All right, so that's a funny way to ask that. How quantum is your home? First of all, I think the word quantum is lame. I think it's a stupid, mystical term used to baffle and confound people about physiological processes that can be described and explained in many different ways. Quantum is becoming this new mystical term among scientific pseudo-intellectuals, in my opinion. But you're probably coming at this from a perspective of, you've probably seen my talks with Jack Kruse, and he'll use this keyword quantum. I'm not really sure how he connects this in with quantum physics at all, because even looking at Jack's blogs, most of them don't talk about basic principles of quantum physics. It just talks about, all right, so wipe the slate clean. Let's start over again. When you're talking about quantum, you're probably referring to how in accordance are you with groups like the people that are really, really into Jack Kruse. How quantum is your home? It just sounds really funny and corny to me. It's kind of like a cult term, right? Like, don't be an SP. Shout out to my Scientology friends out there. I may be a suppressive person. Quantum. How quantum is my home? Look, my home's not grounded. Check out the tile right there. You're asking about grounding, right? So grounding referring to connecting to the earth, putting your bare feet in the ground. But right outside there, whoop, 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 right outside that door, got my wife and my children reading and snuggling. It's concrete out there. So concrete's technically kind of grounded, earthed. But then past that is our garden, which you can walk in and get grounded in. And anywhere outside is also grounded. So how quantum is that? I ask you. Number one, Robin Hyde. Yeah, I mean, like, all right, allowing in sunlight. Windows all over, keep the windows open. Use artificial light at all during the day. There's a skylight. I don't know how quantum that is. I don't know. How quantum are you? So quantum. So freaking quantum, dude. I'm so quantum, bro. Just need to get super quantum right now. Dude, let's talk about how everything's connected. It's all connected. It's quantum. All right. Sorry. I'm feeling silly today, guys. The world is funny. I've had some good laughs this morning. Keto diet with breastfeeding. Great question. Victoria Ventura. I read I couldn't do that, but not sure. My daughter is 10 months. Where did you read that you can't breastfeed and eat a high-fat diet? That's crazy. The most important nutrients that your child needs is going to come through the breast milk. Most of those important nutrients are going to be fat-soluble vitamins. You need vitamin K for that baby. So you're going to want to eat high-fat diet. You're going to want to eat a lot of things like wild-caught fish, wild-caught sardines, and salmon. If you're concerned about mercury, go for the wild-caught sardines and the smaller salmon. Go for the smaller fish. You want to avoid mercury in your breastfeeding. But yeah, you want to get into DHA. You want to get into vitamin K2. You want to get into vitamin D. So my wife, Jessica, is currently on a ketogenic diet. She's in ketosis, and she's been breastfeeding for the 6-week-old baby boy, and that boy is putting on weight so fast. And during her pregnancy, for the most part, she was on a high-fat diet. Now, she did eat more carbohydrates, probably wasn't in the ketogenic range for a lot of the time, but as you probably already know, since you just went through a pregnancy, and congratulations on your daughter, by the way, 10 months old, probably walking around and scaring the crap out of you on a daily basis. Just wait till your daughter is 4. She will own you. But yeah, absolutely fine to eat a high-fat diet. Ketogenic diet too. So I'm not a doctor, and work with your doctor. You have to believe everything a doctor says, blah, blah, blah. All that jazz. But my wife on a ketogenic diet, our 6-week-old baby boy, fully healthy, vibrant, and growing oh so fast. Little chub ball. Thanks for the question, Victoria. David McD says, does keto mean accepting strength loss? No way, man. Keto does not mean accepting strength loss. In fact, I was able to make significant strength gains on a ketogenic diet. Although my pursuit of pure strength and of doing any powerlifting type movements right now, I was able to significantly increase my deadlift, bench press, and squat while doing a ketogenic diet. Now, my thoughts on the deadlift, bench press, and squat, maybe I'll save that for another day. I'm constantly evolving in my appreciation of movement, of certain movements. And gotta say, heavy weights, lifting heavy weights, for me, not as enjoyable anymore. Not been doing it as much. I've not been doing it at all, actually. And I've been maintaining and actually gaining muscle still. Yeah. But I can talk about that later. All right. Will creatine throw you out of ketosis? No. No, man. Creatine won't make you look heavier. Creatine can put a little bit more water in the muscle. I don't know. I don't take creatine. Maybe I'm a non-responder or something like that. I never felt anything or noticed anything from creatine. But of course, I must say that the scientific research says that creatine is great. It'll give you all kinds of gains. But yeah, creatine, I don't know. Not such a big fan. Not going to throw you out of ketosis, though, so don't trip on that. You got it, man. Take your creatine. Enjoy your creatine. You can have your cake and eat it, too. You said, does it help you heal quicker not being in ketosis? Seems like it should be the opposite. I don't think creatine actually improves recovery time. I don't believe it does that. Hey, I could be wrong. I'm not fully up to date on all the research that is being done by supplement companies and funded by supplement companies to sell creatine. Not so up to date on it. CW, will you do some interviews again, Tristan? Always enjoyed those. Maybe get Chris Kresser on. He's awesome. Thanks, CW. There you go. Andrew says creatine makes you retain water. Exactly. It helps you retain water. Might help you make a little more ATP. And might help you crank out a few extra reps, according to the research. But in my honest opinion, it's a waste of money and just useless white powder that you're taking every day and probably not getting anything from. Wait, I started asking another good Keanu Reeves impression. Thanks, Andrew. That kind of got away from me there. Got a little too Spicoli on that one. I did grow up in California. Grew up there, dude. All the rats. Carlsbad, brah. Go down to Stay Beach. So rad. Okay, let's see. My keto progress. You know, I wasn't losing and wondered if it was too much protein and not enough fat. So I changed it up as a bit. My body's reacting well to it. There you go. You were eating more protein than you needed, or you just needed a little change. Or maybe that movement in your body weight and the changes in your body weight and like a whoosh of water weight, that can coincide also, and we can make the association when it's not even there. But I'm glad your stall's over. Good job. CW says, wait, let's see what else. Got so many. Okay. Trisha Lopez. What's up, Trisha? How's it going? Can you describe some of the recipes you have in your cookbook? I love trying new keto recipes. That's a great question. There's over 130. I think there's 137 recipes in Jessica's cookbook, which she gave me a co-author thing, but I didn't develop all these recipes. She's the mastermind in there. She really did an awesome job. Thanks to everybody for buying the recipe book, by the way, for enjoying it. It is still on sale at that discounted price on our website, primaledgehealth.com. So yeah, check it out, primaledgehealth.com. You could see the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, over 137 recipes. I don't know. Let's talk about some recipes. Well, all right. So here's one thing, one example of some recipes that are in there. There's an entire section teaching you how to use organ meats, an introduction to organ meats section. Now, to many people, that might sound weird. Like, I don't know, if you've not been eating a high-fat diet for a long time, you might not have stumbled upon the wonderful world of organ meats. Andrew Scarborough, you're watching. I know you're down for the organ meats. I know you love it. But there's an entire section on how to use organ meats. And this morning, Jessica made just amazing, super, super simple and delicious liver, sauteed liver. I mean, what would you call that recipe you made earlier? The liver.
There's a really nice one, liver and cream sauce in the book.
Mm.
Other like liver and vegetable recipes.
Yeah, there's like a liver and cream sauce recipe in the book. You can use coconut cream. We would probably prefer to use coconut cream, or you can use dairy cream. I don't know. I love dairy, by the way. It tastes great, but for many people, it's not optimal. For a lot of people, it can be highly inflammatory. And many people have argued that in everybody it is inflammatory. But yeah, I'm not anti-dairy. But it is an awesome recipe using cow liver. And she actually made a little variation using sheep liver today, and that was delicious. So the last meal that I ate was actually from the Ketogenic Edge cookbook using one of the liver recipes. So that liver recipe plus some ground beef cooked in a recipe that's in the book, some of the infused oil. So we infuse coconut oil with black pepper and turmeric and cook the ground beef in that. So not only do you get the medicinal benefits, the anti-inflammatory benefits, the immune boosting benefits of the turmeric mixed with the black pepper, and the black pepper actually increases the absorption rate and increases the potency of it as well. So you get that combined with the deliciousness of the coconut oil, which adds this awesome flavor. And it just makes this delicious, spicy, kind of Indian tasting meat. And I love it. So that's what I have. Meat with some liver, some avocado. And I didn't have any greens this morning, but I'm going to have a little bit of greens that are juiced later. Fresh green juice. I do not recommend this to most people who do keto. Probably not going to get into it here. Why? For the most part, juices are not going to be intaken on a ketogenic diet. But this juice is not your normal juice, people. This is going to be just some straight up kale, some herbs like lemongrass, oregano, a little bit of rosemary, and probably some parsley if we have any. So, I mean, this is like some diesel fuel, people. It does not taste good, but it makes you feel awesome. It just opens you up. I really like fresh green juice. It's all about context, people. It's about context, not dogma. It's about optimizing your situation, your performance, your life, your health, so you can be present. Enjoy this experience. Enjoy being in this crazy body that is constantly in flux, constantly in some degree of pain. I got little pains in my neck today. My back's a little crooked. My frame's a bit locked up, but I feel good. It's all about optimizing the situation, working with what we've got, and moving forward. So, yeah, guys, check out the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. Thanks to everybody who's been leaving these awesome reviews. Palabra 17 in East LA. Palabra 17. ¿Qué pasó, amigo? ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, I've been wondering, too, if I should incorporate a cyclical carb up once a week. Good question. Why do you think you need that carb up? How long have you been doing a ketogenic diet? First of all, if you're just a dough, please don't do any carb ups. Don't try any carb ups for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Let's say err on the side of 6 weeks. You don't need a lot of carbs, even if you're lifting heavy. Yes, your strength will drop back a little bit while you're adapting, but it builds back up again. Your strength will come back. Don't worry, people. So let's see. What was I talking about there? I got triggered. I saw the word CrossFit comp. Trisha Lopez. Anyways, yeah, the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. I think we already got to another question after that. You guys can find that cookbook at primaledgehealth.com. We're so stoked to finally have it out. It took over a year to make, and it was finished right before our son Ryder was born. So I don't know. It's a really special thing for us. Means a lot when you guys leave reviews too. When you leave reviews on the website, I know it takes time and energy to sit down and write a review, but we really, really appreciate the people who have taken the time to do that. Thank you so much for the kind words, for sharing this. It's really cool that we get to share it with you guys. So you can find the Ketogenic Edge cookbook at primaledgehealth.com. All right, next question. What we got here? All right. Just so you know, you guys, when I'm doing this, the questions just keep scrolling down. So if I do miss your question, I'm not ignoring you, unless it was just something that I don't have anything to say about. I'm not trying to skip questions. I'm going to try to hit on everybody. Next question. See, I feel like when I'm in one of these hangouts, can't leave any dead time. No dead airspace. I got this mic in front of me and it's just beckoning forth for my voice. It's calling my voice. Let's see. My keto progress says, Trisha, I'm the other way around. I lowered fat and upped protein and lost weight. Maybe it was a little slower progress, maybe not sure, but didn't want to lose too much muscle. Yeah, look, I mean, there's many different camps on the protein thing. You're going to be, a lot of people will tell you must fear protein. If you have one extra bite of protein, it instantly turns to frosted flakes when it reaches your stomach. It's not true. It's ridiculous. This is not a fact. Gluconeogenesis, as far as the research goes at this point, the research seems to suggest that it is a strictly demand-driven process, meaning that your body will only synthesize glucose out of fatty acids and amino acids as it needs to. It's not going to do it just because it has a little less extra substrate. So it's a demand-driven process. It's not a substrate-driven process. Don't be afraid of the protein. Don't fetishize it either. You don't need as much as you think you need. You don't need as much as the fitness industry will tell you you need. Got to remember, people, fitness industry runs on selling carb powders, stimulant pre-workouts, creatine and BCAAs, and protein powders. So they're always going to be pumping the protein. I'm not saying protein's bad. If you want longevity, you do probably want to minimize mTor, though. And as far as maximizing performance and muscle mass or maximizing longevity and health, you're not going to get the best of both worlds. I mean, straight up, like a high-level athlete, these guys in the NFL, these guys in the NBA, athletes like Conor McGregor, horrible accent, I know. He's the real money fight. I mean, these high-level athletes, they are not they're not going for health and longevity. These guys are burning the candle at both ends. The candle that burns twice as bright, burns twice as fast, they say. So, all right. Let's see. Bridget Steele says a keto diet has been recommended for mitochondrial dysfunction. Where should I start? Do you have experience with mitochondrial disease? I have experience with mitochondrial disease. All right, so you've probably come upon a lot of the information talking about the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell, the place where the cell generates energy, the energy generators of the cell. Now, I will say, first of all, that in science, new theories are always coming up to explain the same phenomenon that we're observing. So one of the current theories on disease, the generation of disease, is a theory about mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondrial dysfunction being the basis for the genesis of disease. It was a huge area of research. There's a lot of individuals putting a lot of energy, a lot of time into looking at this. So, I mean, you asked me, do you have experience with mitochondrial disease? You're referring to a theoretical framework in which we put these intellectualized abstractions of phenomena that we're observing, right? You're talking about an intellectual framework, a theoretical framework for mitochondrial dysfunction as the starting point for diseases like Alzheimer's, ALS, diabetes, and cancer. These being diseases of metabolic dysfunction, and mitochondrial dysfunction. So, yeah, absolutely. You check out some of I've got tons of interviews on this channel. Maybe look into the stuff I talked about with Jack Cruz. Maybe look into the interviews I did with Dr. Dominic D'Agostino. That would be a good place to start. So you could also check out the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, like Trisha Lopez was asking about earlier. There's a really good introduction to keto in that book. It's just a huge wealth of knowledge and experience that can help you get started. So, yeah. And there's loads of free content on this YouTube channel. You can absolutely formulate your diet using just the content that I've put out for free over the years on this YouTube channel. So yeah, go ahead and watch some of the older videos, Bridget. Thanks for joining. Palabra 17. Let's see, who else? All right, my keto progress says I got a CrossFit competition tomorrow. Normally eat at around 20% deficit. Was thinking today eating a little bit of calorie surplus. Does that sound reasonable? Or do you think I would just stick with the deficit? Well, if you're gonna put out a lot of energy tomorrow, you got competition and you've been in a deficit, you're feeling a little bogged down, you might want to increase that caloric load for about 48 hours before that competition. I wouldn't eat. I would make sure not to eat for at least 3 to 6 hours before you go out there, especially if you're not used to eating right after a meal. Don't stuff yourself, but yeah, I would probably eat a little closer to maintenance. And be careful with that CrossFit competition. Come on, people. Come on, be careful out there. Be safe. CW, what's up, man? For what it's worth, I'm a power lifter. Usually eat around 30 to 50 grams of carbs from veggies. Lift 5 to 6 times a week and don't feel weak or anything. Just took some weeks to adjust. There you go, man. And I bet you're making progress too. And your strength to weight ratio might probably be improving if you looked at it, because you probably dropped a significant amount of water weight and a significant amount of body fat while maintaining lean muscle mass. So you're lighter and probably just as strong as when you started, which is cool. It means your strength increased. The one Robin Hyde sends a smiley face. Right back at you. How do I get all the micronutrients on a keto diet without taking supplements? Is it possible? Yeah, eat vegetables. Eat leafy green vegetables. You need to get in potassium, so significant amounts of leafy greens, avocados for potassium, and magnesium. Now, the thing is, it can be hard to get all the minerals we need, to get all the micronutrients we need, not just because the diets we eat are deficient, but the foods we eat are deficient also. The foods we grow, the crops that are being grown now, are deficient of minerals. The nutrient density has decreased it's decreased. The nutrient density of our food has decreased at a ridiculous pace, especially since World War II, which never really seemed to end if you look at history. The nutrient density of our food has just plummeted. Industrial agriculture, monocropping, the monopolization of the seed stock, and the use, especially the widespread use of antibiotic. Glyphosate is an antibiotic that strips and chelates the soil of vital minerals, and that's how it kills microbes, because it makes the minerals unavailable. So most of our food is absolutely deficient in potassium and iron and magnesium. So yeah, I don't take any supplements for micronutrients. I eat a nutrient-dense diet of organic, locally grown foods. I use other foods that are high in minerals. I use things like maca and cacao, both super mineral and nutrient dense. I mean, cacao is a phenomenal source of magnesium and selenium. And maca is also loaded with micronutrients and phytonutrients, and is a potent adaptogen. I mean, I use foods like this that are mineral dense, that are grown. I mean, the maca that we have, which we've got on our website, primaledgehealth.com, the maca that we have is grown at over 15,000 feet elevation. Here in the Andes and the Junin Plateau, grass doesn't even grow that high. No trees will grow up there. This is one of the only plants that will grow at this altitude. It's the only thing, and it thrives. And the people that eat this plant are the people that harvest this plant, rather, the people that have been cultivating it for thousands of years, the people who we source this from, the small family farms, which is what we like to support. Small family businesses, small family farms, local businesses. Not about supporting Monsanto's crusade to destroy our entire, the entire genetic history of crops of South America, North America, Europe, and Africa. We're not down for that. We're not going to help support that. We're about organic, local foods. So, yeah, we eat a nutrient-dense diet, local organic foods. Make sure you're getting in lots of vegetables, things like spinach. Can be very high in potassium. Get some high magnesium foods in there. Maybe look into using some cacao. Very high magnesium food. I actually do recommend a lot of people, though, take a magnesium supplement just because the foods are so depleted. What's up, Ari? You got anything to say?
No.
Can you come here? Got a little sass there. Come here. Do people want to say hi? Come here. Come on. All right. 4 years old, going on 15. So yeah, nutrient-dense diet, whole organic foods. Focus on the whole foods. Don't focus on processed food. Don't eat a bunch of stuff with a bunch of preservatives, food colorings, and additives in it. Just keep it basic. Keep it simple. Foods with a few ingredients. Foods that you make yourself at home. I know it's archaic. It's so in the past. It's so in the past eating, nutrient-dense whole foods that aren't prepackaged by Kellogg. All right. Special guest, Ariana. What's up, Ariana? Do you have anything to say?
No.
No? How old are you right now?
4. Turning 5.
You're turning 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. How can people eat a ketogenic diet that's not mineral deficient and not have to take supplements to get all the micronutrients they need in? How can they do that? There's your answer, folks. Bye, Ari.
Bye.
Palabra 17 says, are you ever going to sell Maca again? Yeah, I was just talking about Maca. We do have 1 kilo bags of Maca on our website right now. And those 1 kilo bags, and what's awesome about those, the 1 kilo bags of Maca that we got on our website cost less than many companies are selling 1 pound of inferior Maca for. We source our stuff directly. We get it directly from the source. It's not maltodextrin Maca or any of this other crap you're going to be seeing on the market. It's real. And the price, Greg, what's up from Pittsburgh? Hey, man. And the price is absurdly low compared to the other stuff that's out there. So, yeah, check it out. We got it there. Palabra 17 from East LA. All right, let's see. Will the cookbook ever be available in physical form, or is it only ebook? Good question, Joseph. The cookbook, we might do it like a print. It's just, as far as a content provider, as authors, it didn't seem worth it to print using the self-publishing options that we were looking at the time. So we just decided to release it only in ebook format for now. But hey, we might look into it later on. There's so much stuff here. Thanks for joining, everybody. We got lots of comments, lots of questions. CW says, and I agree. CW says, supplementing creatine is not really necessary if you follow a real food diet. Just eat your meat, fish, and eggs, and you're good. There you go. Quick question. Is chromium a good supplement? Look, there's no supplement that's good by itself. There's not like, oh, this supplement is good, everyone should take this. It's all about context. It's all about context. Chromium, I don't know what you're going to be using it for. Can have its benefits. Anything, when used in an imbalanced situation, can create some imbalances. Palabra says, where's your toy machine hat? That's funny. My toy machine hat is in my car. It's so beat up. It's so ragged. I love that hat. It's like the only hat I have. I got that hat and then a gray hat. It looks really lame. The Robin Hyde says super quantum. Robin Hyde, you're so quantum. How quantum are you? That's not quantum. So unquantum. All right. Let's see. Eddie says, hello, it's great to be on. What's up, Eddie? How's it going, man? Eddie says, quick question. Oh, you were asking about the chromium. I don't know, man. Do a little bit of research. Do a little research on Subversity. You can look it up on PubMed. But it depends on what you're trying to use it for, man. Geek Me Scott says, I'm on keto and wanted to try it. However, I'm a little worried because as I've read that you need to take it with juice or simple carbs or sugar for it to work on keto. So no carbs or sugar. Your thoughts? What are you talking about, Geek Me Scott? There's 2 things that I think you could be talking about. You could be talking about creatine. If you're asking if you need simple carbs or carbohydrates or sugar for creatine to work, no, you don't. You don't need carbohydrates for creatine to enter into your muscles. You don't need it. All right. The Robin Hyde says, how about food timing? Intermittent fasting methods. I typically like late lunch and then about 16 hours of intermittent fasting. I typically need an avocado before starting the fast to keep the potassium levels up. Okay, so yeah, make sure you're getting enough potassium if you're going to do intermittent fasting and a ketogenic diet. You probably might need more than one avocado to get in that level of potassium. But you're asking about timing for intermittent fasting. I prefer to eat breakfast and to finish eating early. So if I wake up at 7, or if I wake up at 6 and I eat at 7, if I wake up at 7 and I eat at 8, I might have my last meal at like 3 o'clock. Might have my last meal later at like 4. Intermittent fasting, for those of you who don't know, is eating within a smaller window of the day. So if you eat, a lot of people talk about 16-8 intermittent fasting. That just means, that's just fancy words for 16 hours of fasting followed by an 8-hour eating window. So for people who are starting out intermittent fasting, I'd say that's probably the best way to go. 16-hour fast is plenty for most people. And I would prefer to have individuals eating breakfast rather than skipping breakfast. So that's some of my thoughts. And I've got videos. If you look up the one Robin Hood, I called you Robin Hyde earlier, sorry. Robin Hood. If you look up intermittent fasting and you search this term on our YouTube channel, you'll find a bunch of stuff. I got several videos on intermittent fasting. I get into all of this. All right, Madara Uchiha. Do you think it's a good idea to have a carb day after being on keto for 6 weeks? I don't know. Why? Do I think it's a good idea? Do you feel like you need it? Do you think it'll help you? I mean, it all depends on the context, right? For some people, it can throw them off. For some people, it can make the cravings come back. When you ask me do I think it's a good idea, I guess I'll answer it from this angle. I'll assume you mean, do you need to do a carb up after 6 weeks on a ketogenic diet? No, absolutely not. You do not. You can remain in ketosis long-term without carb ups and be absolutely fine. You don't need them. So it depends on what your goals are. I mean, if you want to gain some mass, then increasing your carbohydrate intake, increasing your insulin, and increasing mTor can be good. Like we talked about earlier, I mean, it depends on your goals, right? If you're trying to maximize in your lean muscle mass, you're going to want to stimulate mTor. You're going to want to release insulin. You're going to want these anabolic processes going. If you're going for longevity, detoxification, general health, you're probably going to want to keep mTor low and keep insulin levels low and keep blood sugar levels stable. Depends on context, depends on your goal, depends on where you're at, what you're doing, what you want to do. So there it is. All right. I have a question. Does a ketogenic diet decrease IGF-1? And why do some people have low sex drive on ketogenic diet sometimes? All right. Morka Z, thanks for joining us. Does a ketogenic diet decrease IGF-1? Yes. Your blood sugar levels are stable. Your insulin levels are stable. Your carbohydrate intake is low. Your protein intake is not astronomical. Your levels of IGF-1 will likely be decreased as compared to, it's all about what are you comparing it to? I mean, what's the other diet you compare it to, right? We have to compare things if we're going to say it lowers it or raises it. Compared to, say, a standard American diet, it would probably decrease IGF-1 in most people. Why do some people have a ketogenic diet sometimes? Some people have a low sex drive on a high carb diet. Some people have a low sex drive on the crappy standard American diet. Some people have a low sex drive on a ketogenic diet. These diets are not going to fix your sex drive. There are many other inputs from the environment, from our habits, from our choices that determine the level of energy that we can flow, that determine the amount of energy we can flow through our body, we can flow through our heart, and flow through our mind. So why do some people have a low sex drive on a ketogenic diet, on a high carb diet, on any diet? There's many things that it can affect sex drive. If you're depressed, you're in a constant state of worry, of fear. If you're stressed out, you've got constantly elevated cortisol and you're kind of leaning towards an estrogenic state, then your sex drive will be low if you're a man. If you're stressed out in general, your sex drive is going to be low. Now, what are some things that might cause stress? Think about that. How many things cause stress for you? It's not just diet that causes stress. It's not just the diet that affects our health, that affects our hormones, that affects our ability to thrive. So if your sex drive's low, that's just you got low energy. Maybe the energy's there, but it's getting locked up. Maybe the energy is getting siphoned off into these negative thought processes of all this. Maybe you're sitting on social media, looking at people pretending to be intelligent, talking about politics, people blasting their vitriol around. If you don't agree with me, you're an idiot. Or if you don't agree with me, you're a fascist, or you're a racist, you're this or that. And you're engaging in all this stuff. You're constantly being triggered. You're watching the news. Everyone's talking about the sky is falling. The world is ending. Everybody's racist, sexist, hateful. They're going to kill you. They're going to take your guns. This is whatever it is you're listening to. That's wow, 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 wow. We get so much input now. So much stress. We walk outside and there's construction and noise and traffic. Very few of us ever take the time to just sit down and shut up and breathe. Very few of us take the time to relax and breathe and be present. Very few of us know the triggers, the environmental triggers that control our consciousness and our reactions. Very few of us even desire to take the time and put the energy into observing our own reactions to the stimulus around us and figure out what is automatic, what am I? what is making the decisions here? What's driving this vehicle? Meat suit. Very few of us take the time to sit down, reflect, and connect with that. So, hey, if your sex drive is low, you might not be dealing with just a diet problem. You might be dealing with a problem of a disconnection from yourself. You might be dealing with a problem of disconnection between your optimal state. You might just be clogged up in your mind and your heart. You might need to reduce the stress coming from another way, not just diet. But if you're all stressed out, if you're favoring an estrogen state, if you're kind of estrogen dominant, if you're living a lifestyle that's creating a lot of inflammation and stress, your hormones are going to be not in line. You're not going to have a sex drive. So it's not just diet. In a lot of individuals, a ketogenic diet greatly increases and improves sex drive. In a lot of cases, a ketogenic diet improves fertility. So to say that, I don't know, it can go either direction, right? It's about a whole lifestyle approach. And change comes from the inside out. There's this quote. It's not what comes in your mouth that defiles you, but it's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. Because what comes out of the mouth, I forget how it goes. What proceeds out of the mouth is an overflowing of the heart, right? So it's not always what you eat. But what about like what you emanate, what you do, what you focus on? All right. How quantum was that, bros? Was that so quantum? So quantum, dude. Oh, shout California. Speaking of California, marijuana is now totally legal in Cali. You can go there and just smoke up, just smoke out fat. Now that's California. Cannabis was recently legalized. Bras. Cannabis. Actually, I was making funny stoner voice right there. I am not racist against stoners. Don't worry. But I think this is a big, big move towards health sovereignty, legalization of cannabis. I don't like calling it marijuana. Marijuana is a propaganda term used when DuPont, these other large corporations were rallying to make cannabis, to make hemp illegal because it was interfering and would potentially put out of companies that were using petroleum-based products and rubber and especially wood. Cannabis, the growing of hemp creates a lot of fiber. Growing hemp, I don't know, talk about all this. Maybe I can have like a hemp activist on the podcast because this is something that's fascinated me for a long time. The viability of hemp as a staple crop to improve the economic situation of any country and as a way to improve the health of the general populace. Cannabis is a very, very powerful modulator of the soil and can actually pull toxins out of the soil, including radiation. Cannabis obviously is also a powerful medicine, which we've known for a long, long time. If you look at old bottles of cough syrup, you know what was in it? Laudanum, usually. It was usually a combination of some alcohol, cannabis, and opium. These are the cough syrup of the past, folks. And this isn't because your ancestors were a bunch of hedonist degenerates who wanted to get high. They were individuals who knew how to use these plants. These are plants with thousands of years of history of safe use. And finally, in the state of California, individuals are able to, in their own home, responsibly create and consume and use this plant medicinally or recreationally. So this is a big move for humanity. It's a big indicator that people are wanting sovereignty. People want health sovereignty. They want food sovereignty. They want sovereignty over their lives. That's your body. You can do what you want with it. You can eat what you want. You can think what you want. You can say what you want. And I can't tell you what to do, think, eat, say, or what to put in your body. If you want to go huff some paint in your garage, you can do it. I don't care. It's up to you. But yeah, big move for humanity in general. So Geek Me Scott's in Encinitas, California. Dude, what's up? I'm from Carlsbad. Encinitas. All right, let's see. Next question. Were you always lean? No, not always, never lean. I don't think I haven't put up a lot of old pictures, but yeah, I was never lean growing up. I was always a little chubby. I had a little bit of body fat, little love handles. No, was not always lean. The leanest I've ever gotten was using keto. That's for dang sure. Best I've ever felt was using a ketogenic diet. That's doing it after 3 or more years. I don't even know how long it's been now. All right. CW, kale juice is also nice once in a while with some fresh turmeric. Really hot and gets the blood flowing. Hey, yeah, what about ginger? Throw some ginger in there. Ooh. All right. Trisha Lopez says, I love my fresh green juice, and gives me a green heart. That's so sweet. Green heart. Ariana almost came from the other room to see the green heart. Thanks, Trisha. Nico says, what are your plans for the future? What projects are you working on now? Whoo, that's a good question. Right now, what do we have planned for the future? Well, we just finished and released the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. We've not really had much of a chance to talk about it. We talked about it in a few of these hangouts and a few videos. But first of all, the intention moving forward as this year comes to a close, we want to get that cookbook out there. We want more people we want to share the work with more people. So probably end up going on some other people's podcasts and stuff like that, and maybe doing a little promotion of the book, get that book out there. We've got some more books in the workings and a few other surprises coming. We got a lot going on. This whole thing is going to expand soon. So we've got some nice surprises for you guys. Of course, we've been doing the Maca. We've still got a few hundred units left of 1 kilo bags of our organic raw Maca. So we'll probably do some more Maca, and we might bring in some other very, very special surprise products soon that we can share with you guys. If you haven't noticed, we only share with you guys stuff that is freaking awesome. Stuff that we eat ourselves, that we enjoy ourselves, stuff that brings value to us, stuff that we find value in. And so yeah, Nico, we're really appreciative of individuals like you, of everybody who, you know, supports and joins in on this project and, you know, communicates with us like this community that we're able to engage with here. We're stoked on it. It's so much fun. So we want to engage more with the community. We want to expand on it. We want to keep promoting the lifestyle, the healthy habits, the future and the world that we want our kids to live in. So we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to make every day as awesome as we possibly can. Plans for the future. I think it's good to have plans. I think it's more important to have intentions. And those intentions within you. Like, this is pre-linguistic stuff here in the core of your being. That's what I'm about refining. That spark, that intention. Don't know what to call it. Don't know what to say about it. But I want that. It's like the connection that we have to life, the connection that we have to this thing that is bigger than us, that is more loving, that is more amazing, that created all this, the force behind all this. That's what I love. That's what I'm into. So yeah, more life, more good, more reality, more honesty. That's what I want. So yeah. Thanks, Nico. Thanks for the question. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys can hear me okay. This mic should be pretty good. This should be greatly improved over all the past quality of audio we've had. On intermittent fasting. All right, Declan got a question about intermittent fasting. Declan and Walt says, on intermittent fasting, is it okay to have some fats like 100% cacao or butter? Yeah, of course, man. I was talking about cacao earlier. So the first thing I ate this morning, before the meal that I already mentioned, the first thing I had this morning was some chocolate that I made. It's actually going to be, we might put this recipe up on the website or make a video of it because it's so delicious. And it uses the maca. And the synergy between maca and chocolate. So you're into cacao, you're talking about cacao butter, 100% cacao butter with cacao powder is how you can make awesome homemade chocolate. So you get the cacao butter, you melt it, like a double boiler, or you just put it in a pan, low heat and melt it. Or if you have a dehydrator like us, you can melt it in there if you want to keep it super low temperature, if you want to keep it raw. But yeah, I'm giving away this whole recipe right here. But I think I actually talked about it on the last hangout. But cacao goes great with maca. Cacao is a fantastic food. And the first thing I ate this morning was some cacao butter with maca, a little bit of yacon powder, which is mostly FOS, fructooligosaccharides, a prebiotic, inulin, undigestible sugars that will feed gut bacteria, but not raise blood sugar. So that's the sweetener that I used. And maca also adds a little bit of sweetness to it. And then, there was also a little bit of collagen in there. So yeah, that's what I had this morning. I had some 100% cacao just this morning. We'll mix with a little bit of yacon to sweeten it up a bit. CW says, I got a question that's been on my mind for some time. Why do some folks cope well with a high carb diet and some don't? Obesity is not really a common occurrence in Asia. Yeah, that's a good question, man. Look, there's going to be so many potential answers to that. I don't know the answer to that. I can give you hundreds of potential answers. We could be looking at phenotypic differences, genetic differences in populations. Many folks that are eating this so-called high-carb diet, you're talking about the Chinese. They're living in an oppressive communist regime. They're living in a totalitarian society, and most of those people don't have a lot of resources. In the United States, the obesity rates are super high. Nobody in the United States, it's very, very hard to have a super low standard of living. You come to a place like Ecuador, you go to a place like India, you'll see it's a different type of lack that some people have. The resources that are available in places like the U.S., and things like, food stamp programs make it really hard for people to live in super poor conditions. But anyways, that's beside the point. We're looking at the Chinese population. They don't across the board eat a high carb diet. They don't eat a high calorie diet. And you can't just extrapolate into an entire population, right? You can't just look at just the Chinese population. I mean, you have different classes. You got different social classes, different economic classes within Chinese society that allow some Chinese people to get fat. You could also have metabolic differences. You could also have genetic differences, environmental differences as well. Lots of populations who have grown up, who are not grown up, but who were developed in areas like, I don't know, say for instance, around the equator, South America and Africa, where there would be abundant fruit available, where there would be carbohydrate available year round. A lot of those people might be better adapted to it. Whereas Northern European populations, people whose genetics come from further up north, where you've got harsh winters, where you're dealing with carbohydrate unavailability for most of the year in a lot of these places, they will genetically be predisposed to burning fat far better. So it's not just, you can't just extrapolate into populations and generalize. You got to consider the full spectrum of experience. So thanks for the question. Daniel Velasquez says, is it okay to have 2 cups of coconut milk, half in the morning, then half at night, for fat and calories? Yes, you may. I give you permission, Daniel Velasquez. You can drink coconut milk for fat and calories. Put some maca in that coconut milk in the morning. Super, super good. CW. Oh, I got a question that has been on my mind. Oh, no. That was good. All right. Thanks for the question, CW. Asking if I play the piano. Not very well. That's a keyboard that we got for our daughter. My mom played piano. I love piano, but I've not had time to refine that. One day I'd love to start playing more and fiddle around with it, but I don't know anything about it. Giota Short says it's much better. The mic, it feels more intimate. Good. Yeah, it's nice because I can just talk normal in front of an empty screen with my own freaking face on it. But hey, at least I see your guys' comments. Keep the comments coming, and I'll keep this hangout going. Got maybe about 15 minutes left of patience for this. All right, Tammy O'Hagan says, blood work shows calcium's low. Ulcerative colitis is back. Spine aches a lot. Incorporating bone broth, keto diet, non-GMO, and organics when the wallet allows. Any suggestions? All right. Ulcerative colitis, you're dealing with an inflammatory condition and a condition of a so-called autoimmune condition. Get in a lot of DHA. Focus on wild-caught fish. This is what I would do. I'm not a doctor. It's not going to cure, diagnose, or treat any disease. These statements have not been evaluated by the criminal FDA, and I am not a sanctioned member of the priesthood of the scientific and medical class of the United States. I do not have a caduceus on my shirt, so you should not listen to me, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, for an inflammatory condition like that, I would myself make sure that I'm not eating any foods that are flaring up this reaction of inflammation. I would implement a higher fat diet, utilizing coconut oil as a fat source, eat a lot of avocados, use olive oil, and yeah, I mean, if fiber is annoying it, you might want to do some like green vegetable juice. But hey, this is all context dependent. I do think a high fat ketogenic diet would be a good way to go with a focus on DHA. So getting that DHA, the selenium and iodine. You got to reduce stress though. And get some more water. We'll talk about this more.
Hey, give me some water as well.
There's water. You got to come get it yourself, girl.
Okay.
I'm talking at a silent screen like a crazy man. All right. So you're having a lot of pain and inflammation and some immune system issues. This is not like there's something wrong with you. This is your body reacting to its environment, right? Our body is not in a vacuum. Disease doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in relation to the environment that we choose to live in. the environment we engage in. So what I reduce environmental stressors from not only food, but turn off your dang Wi-Fi, have a fire at night, sit next to the fire, heat up your bones in that fire. Maybe get in like a sauna. Find some ways to support your detoxification pathways. Use things like sauna, support liver function with stuff like milk thistle, and reduce inflammation using both diet and cold exposure and deep breathing. So what I would recommend is getting into a consistent practice of breathing super deep. Learn to fill your body up with oxygen. Learn to connect with the fascia system of your body. Learn to energize your body using the breath. Connect with your body, connect with silence. Go get in a cold ass river or lake with no distractions and start exposing yourself to cold on a regular basis. That will not only reduce inflammation, but it'll also help you to get in touch with your body, to get in touch with your own immune response, and begin to take control of your stress response. What you should do is also look into Wim Hof. He shows a really, really simple, basic breathing technique, very similar to a lot of old yoga stuff, pranayama, breath work, stuff like that, but with none of the religious connotation, no woo-woo, namaste, brah stuff, none of that. Check out Wim Hof. Learn to do his breathing and start exposing yourself to cold. Do a little bit of research on cold thermogenesis and reduce the stress in your life. You got to take control of the stress response. We all do it. Yeah, it's your body. It's your life. And this is your moment right now. Like, you're in that body. You're listening to me. You're choosing to be here. You choose to be present. We choose to focus on pain. If we choose to focus on that pain, then what are we ignoring? What's behind that pain? What's behind... Oh, I got a fly buzzing me here. What's behind? You guys could probably hear that on the mic. What's behind that pain? What's behind that suffering? Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to getting in better touch with ourselves, getting in touch with our body, with our stress response, and finding ways to deepen your connection with life, to deepen your experience of the moment, and to love what is here, to love this experience, and to really, really dive into it. And as our fearless leader would say, to grab life by the pussy. I'm sorry. All right. So yeah, you got that, Tammy. You can do it. It's your life. It's your body. It's your moment. You're right here. Let's enjoy this, you know? We got to breathe, people. Breathe deep. We were all once little tiny babies. We all came out butt naked, completely confused, little sacks of loose, goosey, jiggly collagen and gray matter, brown adipose tissue. We all came out babies. The biggest man you ever did see was once a baby. We all come from that. You know, I mean, it's this amazing experience. We grow up, we pretend we know this and that. We pretend we're experts. We pretend we're we think we got it all figured out, but we're all just big babies, folks. Doesn't matter what degrees we have, doesn't matter what titles we have, doesn't matter what chicks we know. We were all once babies. We all came from the same place, and we're all going back to the same place. So let's enjoy what's in between. Let's stop being so stressed out. All right. Sean Berganza says, prayers and studying have led to repeated heat waves in the body. Palms and feet been getting intensely hot the past couple days with vivid dreams. That's really cool. There you go, Sean. That's your energy. That's your life. You're feeling more. That's how we get more, right, Sean? We focus, we relax into it. We be grateful for what we have now. We be grateful for what we do have control over in our body, in our little environment here, in our reality. And we recognize that we aren't the source of all this, that we are partakers in all this. But actually, we are kind of the source of it too. We're the part. We're a little spark of that source, the spark of creation. And it's just a beautiful experience. You guys can probably hear the 6-week-old baby crying in the background. A little rider. He's having fun. He's enjoying his experience. He just breathes. You ever hang out with a baby? Just start mimicking what babies do. Start moving like your child. Try to spend 10 minutes with a baby or with a child doing the exact movements and breathing and making the exact sounds they do. You'll be exhausted, but you'll probably feel awesome. Yeah, Sean, that's good though, man. You got more energy, you get heat waves through your body, feeling sensations that maybe you didn't have connection to before. It's all a gift. It's really cool. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. Keep enjoying life. Stay on your path. You know, it is reality. We go beyond just physical, people. In case you didn't notice, you're not just a physical being. You're not just a meat bag. B-Ray TV says, I've been reading that the ketogenic diet doesn't support explosive energy needed for some workouts. I've read that you should carb load. I do jujitsu competitively. I don't know. I mean, maybe the easiest way to answer this question would be just to refer you to, look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's huge into MMA. He's huge into Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu. He's obsessed with Jiu-Jitsu. That dude has been doing a ketogenic diet for like over a year now. He's been on a keto diet. So you can absolutely do Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, it's going to take time to adapt. You're probably not competing every weekend. And it's highly likely, even if you do Jiu-Jitsu competitively, that's not your source of income. So it's not like you're going to starve to death if you can't compete for 1 month while you adapt. But yeah, man, you could do keto, do explosive sports. We were talking to an individual earlier before you joined. Forget his name. Maybe it was CW. It was a power lifter, explosive strength athlete on a ketogenic diet. Absolutely can be done. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see. Tammy says, thank you, Andrew Artiega, because Andrew typed in how to spell Wim Hof. Look at this. Look at this these helping hands from everybody. Look at these awesome people helping each other out. That's what's up. Thanks, Andrew. Tammy says, you're correct. My stress has been overwhelming lately. I can't remember the last time I was able to just go outside barefoot and enjoy nature. Yeah, that's not because I'm like psychic and have amazing psychic powers. This is what it is. I mean, stress in most individuals, emotional, psychological stress can be the root of a lot of problems. Get out in nature, Tammy. Go outside and breathe. Just go somewhere totally quiet with nobody blabbering at you. Leave your phone at home. Throw your phone away. Ditch the phone. Go out into a park, in the woods, or just in your backyard. Doesn't matter where. Lay down, look at the sky. Breathe deep for 3 to 5 minutes. Do 30 to 50 breaths. At your own pace. Sometimes I like to do them powerfully, like, and really relax into those exhales. Really feel that relaxation. Feel the tissues. You have this whole spectrum of tension, of the possibility of tension, of tensegrity. You can have your muscles can be very loose. Your fascia, your muscle can be loose and jiggly, or they can be tight. They can be tight and restrictive, flexed and inflection. You got that whole spectrum. Get out of that tension. What causes that tension? Well, fears, angers, bitterness, watching the news and propaganda, arguing with people over trivia. Just focusing on this divisiveness, focusing on the fear, and the anger, and whatever it is, focusing on all that negativity. It puts us in that tension. It shortens the breath. We breathe shallow when we're stressed. When we're alive, when we're powerful, when we're full of energy, we can breathe deep. We can control it. We can put out energy. We can draw energy into our body. You can work yourself up into a manic state with that breathing, but you do the 30 to 50 of those deep breaths and relax into those exhales. You count 30 to 50 of those breaths, and on the 50th or the 30th, whatever you choose, on that last exhale, take a big deep breath. Release it, and at the bottom, you hold. You retain your breath. You don't have to, you don't want to gasp it out. You don't want to, you don't want to squeeze it out. You relax. And you hold for as long as you can. Then when you need to inhale, when your body starts telling you, you got to breathe, you just keep relaxing. And you tell that little thing in the back of your mind telling you, I'm dying, I'm drowning, I'm suffocating. You say, shut up, monkey brain. Shut up, lizard brain. I'm in control here. I'm in the driver's seat. Because I'm not the brain. I'm more than that. And then when you really, really need to inhale, then you consciously make that decision to inhale again. And at that inhale, you can hold again. If you choose, for 15 to 30 seconds, whatever feels good. You do rounds of that out in nature. Feel what's in your body. You might have emotions come up. You might find yourself in tears. You might find yourself in profound visionary states. You might find yourself in a state of absolute bliss. And you just might form a deeper connection and bond with yourself and with the mystery that lies behind the beautiful experience that we've all been blessed with, that we're all sharing here together. And it's amazing. So get out in nature, Tammy. That will help. All right, let's see. What else? So many questions. CW says, would be awesome to have you on Joe's podcast one day. That's like one of the only podcasts that I would want to do. Just because I've been listening to Joe for a while, off and on. It's Joe Rogan we're talking about. I don't always listen to him. I can't always handle it. I think he's got one of the better podcast formats out there. And I really liked Joe Rogan back in the day when he was one of the first people to come out and talk about psilocybin and dimethyltryptamine. And I remember when he was talking about that. That was an interesting time in my life. Yeah, I'd go on Joe's podcast. Would I go to LA just to do that? No. He probably wouldn't want to have me on his big old podcast anyways. Celestial Light. Do you think everyone should be on the ketogenic diet? No. If not, what are the kind of people who should not be on the ketogenic diet? Good question. Type of people that should not be on a ketogenic diet. People that don't like the ketogenic diet shouldn't be on it. People that shouldn't be on it. So, yeah. I don't know. It's not for everyone. If you've not heard of it and become interested in it and sought it out yourself, it's not for you. So there you go. Andrew says, couldn't agree more. Get on JRE. He is amazing on getting deep in all sorts of topics. Andrew. All right. So Joe, if you guys want me on Joe Rogan's podcast, he's got to come here. Joe, open invitation. Come out to Vilcabamba, Ecuador. Come out here. We'll hang out. We can talk into this microphone. I'll make you some tea. All right. Here we go. What made you move to South America, and how have you been received by the locals? What's up, Self Theory? It's a cool name, Self Theory. Why did we move to South America? Many, 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 many reasons. We moved here in 2010 and have not really looked back. I don't know. I mean, I could write a freaking book about when we came here. It was a crazy time in our lives. I was at a major crossroads. I was looking at either going to school more. I was really into, I wanted to become a chiropractor. I had back issues, scoliosis, hyperlordosis, and kyphosis, pain in my back since I was a kid. Major muscle imbalances. So I started really getting into manual therapies. But then I didn't want to get, like, I felt like chiropractic itself, it was too narrow, and I didn't want to be in an office all the time. I was very protective over my lifestyle, my sovereignty, my feeling of personal freedom, and just for many, many reasons of things that were going on in our lives, parts of our life. I mean, we were just in a specific point in our development, Jessica and I, when we decided that let's get out of here. Let's just go somewhere else on an amazing adventure. Let's do something different. So instead of continuing school, instead of incurring massive amounts of debt and going down the more sure path and the more certain path, after much deliberation, we decided, let's go to South America. So we flew down to Ecuador in 2010, and we love it here. How have you been received by the locals? The locals is my home stuff theory. Ecuadorian people they're beautiful people. I mean, all my neighbors are so sweet. It's so quiet here. Let's see. I'll be quiet. Listen. Ari, be quiet for a second. You hear that? This is just birds chirping. That's all you can hear. Okay, you be as loud as you want now. But I love quiet. I like the night sky. I despise light pollution. I despise air pollution. I grew up asthmatic, allergic to so many things. Just with a generally weak immune system. And yeah, I mean, we got really into health, got really into taking control of our own health. And that was part of the journey too. We wanted to live in a place where there was good, clean water, where the air was clean, where there's better soil, better food quality. I mean, honestly, like our quality of life here in a small little village in the middle of freaking nowhere, in this beautiful, insane mountain realm, this mysterious, magical place called the Andes. Our quality of life here is much better than we would have living anywhere else in the United States. And that might sound ridiculous to a lot of people, but it's true. But it's not for everybody. Just like a ketogenic diet, moving to Ecuador or any Latin American country or any, country that's outside of your comfort zone is not for everybody. If you want to move out of the country, if you want to move out of the U.S., don't come to Vilcabamba, Ecuador. It's full. I like it quiet. Sean says, right on, Tristan. Wait, where'd you go? Right on, Tristan. Also, what are your thoughts on walnuts? They're delicious. Love to combine them with macadamias and a big bowl of greens. Thumbs up. I agree. Save me some. Giota Shorts. What's up? You remember. You've been paying attention, Giota Shorts. What are your thoughts on Mel Gibson returning to directing films 10 years after his last film, Apocalypto? All right, first of all, Apocalypto is one of the greatest films of the last 20 years. Straight up, Apocalypto, made by Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's been crucified and demonized in the media for a long time. Dude, I think it's great that he's directing. Yeah, I'll see that movie. Spider-Man guy's in it, playing what was he, like a Seventh-day Adventist who was a conscientious objector, didn't want to wield a weapon, but ended up being a medic in World War II. I guess it's based on a true story. Who knows how true it really is? I'll see that film. But dude, Apocalypto, I mean, come on. Like he can't top Apocalypto. He should have just dropped the mic after Apocalypto and walked off because that film is genius. If anybody hasn't seen the movie Apocalypto, go watch it. I am Jaguar Paw. This is my forest. It was my father's forest before me. He hunted this forest, and I will hunt in this forest, and my son will hunt in this forest. Ah! Dude, that movie's amazing. Yoda Shorts, feel free to drop Apocalypto quotes just to hype me, up. That movie's so awesome. Genius. So much more going on in that film. I mean, one of the most monumental moments in film history, I would have to say. One of the most stunning moments is the sacrifice scene, where it shows, and what I think is so interesting about it is this movie is not just about Mayan culture. It's about the family being destroyed by the collective. It's about small communities being swallowed up into Babylon, swallowed up into the bowels of Babylon. Is a powerful film, and it's about this tribe. I'll just like talk about Apocalypto for the rest of the podcast. Viewers are going down. No, but it's freaking amazing. I mean, there's one scene where the priesthood is sacrificing humans. They're cutting out the hearts and eating it, and they timed it very well. So it's all about how the priesthood uses celestial knowledge of the movement of the heavenly bodies, the stars, lying signs and wonders to deceive the masses, to enslave the masses, and to extract the blood of the innocent. It was a beautiful, haunting, fantastic film. Everybody watch it. It's about how the priesthood pulls the wool over your eyes. There's a lot more going on in that film than most people realize. Apocalypto, people. Freaking awesome. All right. Next question. Living in Ecuador, do you see a fruition in these plants on getting out to the Western world? Studies have shown a tremendous effect on depression, addictions, etc. Oh, no. Okay, so this is a different part. All right. Andrew Artiega says, what's your perspective on plant medicines like Wachuma, which is mescaline-containing cactus, San Pedro? You got it growing back here. Come on down, Andrew. We'll make some tea. No, I'm kidding. All right. So Wachuma, psilocybin, ayahuasca, ibogaine, etc., and how they relate to spiritual/personal growth and happiness. Living in Ecuador, do you see these plants? Do you think these plants will get out more into the Western world? Only asking because I'm diving into the deep Amazon rainforest next month in Peru for an ayahuasca retreat. Yeah, that's a good question. It ain't no joke. It ain't no game. We play for keeps. That's all I got to say on that, Andrew. That's no joke. It's no game, man. We play for keeps. They play for keeps. I think these things can have value, but they're like a knife. They're like any tool. A tool can be wielded intelligently. A tool can be wielded dangerously. So, yeah. And I hope you did a lot of research on wherever it is you're going, and I hope you know people who are there. And if you start to have doubts, Andrew, if you start to maybe feel like something might not be right with the situation you're going into, if you get there, you feel like shit's just a little bit weird here, thing, or Mr. Shaman seems a little bit touchy with the ladies, or this dude's looking at me like he wants to take a part of my soul, then you might want to reevaluate. If you're interested in plant medicines and engaging in, if you're interested in using ayahuasca with an experienced, people call them shamans, curandero or ayahuasquero, and you come through Ecuador, Andrew Artiega, just message me and I can put you in touch with a friend of mine who I do trust, because there's a lot of individuals out there, a lot of shysters. These things can have a lot of benefit, as you've already come upon this information on the internet, becoming very popular and trendy now. There's a lot of charlatans. There's a lot of money to be made off of innocent gringos going in there looking for healing. And there's predatory people that like to prey on the weak. So it's just like anything. Be careful who you engage with. Thanks for the question too, Andrew. You're gonna I'm sure you'll be fine, man. When you moved to Ecuador, did you already speak Spanish fluently? Good question, Nancy. When I moved to Ecuador, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in San Diego. En el barrio de San Diego hay mucha gente que habla mucho español. Yo puedo conversar con la gente. I can speak decent Spanish. I can get along. When I first came down here, my Spanish wasn't as good as it is now, but I had some Southern California Spanish skills. I grew up eating Mexican food. I grew up hanging out with Mexicans. I grew up visiting Mexico. And so I had basic rudimentary Spanish, and I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. So, yeah, I didn't come here naked and afraid. Trisha Lopez says, you're so calming. I enjoy your videos. Keep them coming. Trisha, I got a raging fire inside. That's why I'm calming. I'm calming myself. Not just calming you, calming myself. I'm stoked to be alive. I hope you guys are too. I'm going to probably start wrapping this up. Let's see. Any more questions, guys? Thanks to everybody for joining. We had a bunch of people join today. It was a last-minute decision. Maybe let's go. You really make it sound like heaven on earth. Dang. So CW. No, it's not heaven on earth, man. Hey, for most people come here to Vilcabamba, where we live, they think, oh, this is so awesome. I'm getting out of the rat race. I'm moving to Ecuador. I'm going to be at peace. I'm going to love it. It's going to be so awesome. They come here. They last a few months. They drive themselves crazy, and they get out of town. That's just how it goes, man. Yeah. Palabra 17 says, ashwagandha thoughts. Had some last night. Hashtag helped me sleep pretty well. Yeah, ashwagandha is great. Dig it. Let's see. 13 years, asthma attacks all the time. We moved and not another attack in 36 years. Sometimes you got to move. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Urban aquaponics. It's not just about the food we eat. It's about the environment we live in. Making big choices like that, moving yourself, changing your environment dramatically will have dramatic effects on your health. Every level of your health will be affected by it. So good job. Congratulations on the move. I know very well what it feels like to have asthma attacks. I grew up with asthma. I had to carry an inhaler with me every day of my life since I was I think it started when I was around 3. I was pretty young. Started when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and had an inhaler with me every day until I was about, man, it took me till I was like 23 to actually rid myself of it. That's not like I did anything. It's just, environmental changes, growing up, building my immune system, eating a healthier diet, living a healthier lifestyle, and learning to, as you probably noticed, urban aquaponics, there's a lot more going on with asthma than just environmental toxin, like a response to environmental toxins. Now, I grew up in Riverside for quite a bit of time. So from the age of like 3.5, about when my asthma started, I moved from Dana Point, which is on the coast in Southern California, to Riverside, California, which is the taint of the state. So, no, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Riverside. There's a lot of good people in Riverside. I love a lot of people that I knew in Riverside, but it's a pretty crappy place to live as far as pollution goes, because it's like the smog bowl of California. And my asthma was horrible. I mean, I would go to when I played soccer when I was a kid, and I would always have to have my inhaler with me. I remember we'd have smog alerts. They put smog alerts on the news. Like, today's a smog alert. Like they announce on the news that it's so disgusting and filthy, and your environment is so toxic and inhumane that they tell you on the news that you need to chill out and maybe not go run outside because it's a smog alert, right? Asthma sucks, but I see it's an autoimmune condition. It's an immune condition. It is a inflammatory state, and You know, I mean, it takes a comprehensive approach to get beyond these things. But I don't think I have an inhaler anymore. I can't remember the last time I used an albuterol inhaler. Woo! Freaking awesome. And my lungs feel good. My lungs actually feel more open than ever. Okay, here we go. Do you believe cold showers can improve your health? Yes. But take it further than cold showers and go get in cold rivers and lakes, because when you're actually floating, when you're weightless in that cold, there's a whole nother level of therapeutic benefit. Absolutely. Cold thermogenesis I talked about earlier, in regards to the woman who, or the woman or man who was dealing with some chronic inflammatory and immune conditions, autoimmunity conditions. I think it was ulcerative colitis and just like arthritic type pain. Cold exposure is fantastic for reducing stress, loosening up the frame. Actually, 2 days ago, I had this awesome experience. I had eaten something funny and my gut flared up a little bit. And I'm, very sensitive in my body, got a sensitive stomach. So what happened was I could feel it in the fascia all around my body. I could feel the tension. I could feel some of the fascia bunching up because maybe I'd had gas and got a little bloated. It just felt funny, it felt tight. The frame wasn't in control. I wasn't able to move like I should. So I went down to the river, got in this big old pool, got weightless, and literally 30 seconds in there, all the pain in my body was gone. I opened my jaw like this one, kind of gave like a yawn, and just felt I consciously released the tension, the fascia tissue in here. And there's this huge snap in my ear, just and it opened up. I could hear better, and look, the colors were brighter around me. Life was a little more beautiful. So yeah, cold exposure, especially natural bodies of beautiful, cold, natural water, flowing water. That can be so powerful just for connecting you with the moment, connecting you with your interface, with the vessel that you're in. So do it. Get that cold. Trisha Lopez taking off. She says, have a wonderful day. Ciao, Trisha. I'm about to take off. Giotto Short says, I'm from Riverside. Yes, I agree. It comes in from LA. Yeah, but hey, we chose to live there, right? You can't blame LA for that air. There's some nice parts of Riverside, though. It's funny, I was showing my wife that I forget what it was called, the AYSO soccer field that I used to play soccer at when I was a kid. I was a Lilin in Riverside. That thing is so big. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I just remember I would spend like the whole day there because of my dad. He coached my team, and then he coached my brother's team and my sister's team. So at one point we had 3 soccer games every Saturday, and it was just like the whole day at that soccer field. All the Riversidians with their easy up canopies and orange slices. All right. Nick Shepard says, hey, man, so happy you're live right now. I know you've gone over this last stream, but I cannot get to sleep. What magnesium, potassium foods do you recommend to eat at night? Look, all right, can't sleep at night. Reduce your stress. Turn off your devices. Read a book by a candlelight. Change the lighting in your house to amber or red lights. Those are like things you could do in your environment, right? Set a rule. After sundown, no electronic devices, no computer, none of that. And take magnesium. I would say magnesium glycinate would probably be the best. You could try magnesium L-threonate as well. But don't eat before you go to bed too. You're asking what magnesium, potassium foods do I recommend? Get your food in before 6 o'clock so your stomach's empty, so you're not digesting when you want to fall asleep. And just get yourself in that nice relaxed state. Do some deep breathing. Go look at the stars. Go check out the moon. Watch it wax and wane. And yeah, do some deep breathing. Relax. Connect to your body. Connect to that relaxed state that you can access at any time, and you should fall asleep a little bit better. Palabra says, do you think keto helps with anxiety? Oh, yes. For a lot of people, it helps a lot. I think I talked about this last hangout, but it increases GABA, G-A-B-A. Look up GABA. You'll see how a ketogenic diet affects GABA levels. It's pretty profound how much it can help people with anxiety. Chioda Short says, reading Silence by Shusaku Endo. Very interesting novel on what it means to live a life of faith. Living that life while God is silent. It's a very interesting poetic way to say it. What do you mean while God is silent? Living a life of faith while God is silent. Interesting. All right. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. It's been so nice. Thanks to everybody for coming. Beverly Strickland says, hey, guys, just popping in on my break from work. We appreciate you. Carrie says, howdy from Idaho. What's up, Carrie from Idaho? Holla. Holla. Jessica says, holla from downstairs. She just smiles real sweetly from downstairs. And Ariana eats cheese, and she gives you a cheers with her cheese. Beverly, thanks for joining. Giota Shorts, Nick Shepard, thanks for joining. Levi Goner says, holla, and I holla back. CW says, grass is always greener. Haha. Exactly, man. Grass is always greener. That's the thing. We got to fix what's inside. We got to fix our relationship with the... It's like you can't even say it. It doesn't even make sense. We got to fix infinite. We got to deepen our relationship with the wonder, with the divine that's all around us and that's inside of us. So I'll leave it at that, guys. That's what's up. Thanks for joining, everybody. This has been fun. I've been blithering and blabbering for so long. You can find more at primaledgehealth.com. What did we talk about today? We talked about the cookbook, the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. You can find that at primaledgehealth.com. The Maca that we talked about, the organic premium raw Maca in 1 kilo bags. Those 1 kilo bags are less than many people are selling a pound for, and it's real stuff. You can find that at primaledgehealth.com. If you want to know more about Maca, you can check out the free ebook. The free ebook is called Maca, the Andean Adaptogen. All right. So thank you for joining, everybody. It's been nice. We'll do this more often. This is my favorite way to do videos and give feedback. Sometimes it's difficult for me to to just get in front of the camera and start talking about something, get bored with it. So I like to get the feedback and do these hangouts. These are very fun. For the individual who asked, when am I going to have more guests on and do more podcasts? Maybe you guys comment down below. Who do you want me to have on? Who do you want me to have on the podcast? I have problems finding people that I think are interesting, real, and have something new and dynamic to say. And that's, that is what it is. I've had a few individuals who I've tried to contact to have on the podcast, and it's just sometimes it doesn't work out. But I'm gonna have more guests on. So who do you want to see? Who should I have on the podcast? What do you guys want to see? Thanks for joining, everybody. Corina Nielsen, hello and goodbye. I'm on the way out. Sorry, everybody. City Sig says, let Jessica do a show on her own. I'd love that. Jessica's a little bit shy. You want to do a podcast on your own? Just sit here and talk into a microphone at a blank screen, Jessica? It's not easy. It's not easy, guys. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your life. Enjoy whatever day it is you happen to listen to this on. And you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. Share this with your friends. Like it. And I'll see you guys next time.